Thanks for joining us today at the 90s Vault Podcast. We're your Vault Keepers, Jeff and Ryan, and join us today as we look at everything that came into the 90s, was the 90s, led out of the 90s.
Awesome. So what do we got today, Vit? I think let's go ahead and start with the word of the day like we love to do.
Ready for word of the day? So we got a special little word of the day planned out for you, and I think you just might have an idea of where we're going with today's episode. So, Jeff, roll that beautiful bean footage, brother.
Ooh, the bean footage is roll.
I said roll it, Jeff. Jake.
Today's secret word is
Dragon Sword.
All right. So where are we going with today, Jeff?
Well, we have a special guest today. It's my good friend, Rey Gutierrez. And we met at PlayStation. I was a video editor.
Yep.
Editors.
Yeah,
So we started out that way, and met him for the first time. Super cool guy, and he kind of took me under his wing a little bit when I first showed up, and kind of introduced me and got me going a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and introduce him. But first, I do have a little segue.
Are you getting a call? My communicator's ringing.
I think it
Alert
is.
the other Rangers at once.
right away, Zordon. Aye, aye, aye.
Come on, Jeff. Come on, Ryan. It's morphing time.
Dragon Sword! Mastodon! Tyrannosaurus!
Ooh.
All right. So we're jumping off the morphing grid, and we got our boy Ray here with us today. Ray, how you doing, my man?
Good, Vit. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show, Vit and Jeff. It's been quite a pleasure, I guess, phone tagging and trying to finally settle on a time to get us all on a podcast. So
Yeah, people don't understand how hard it is to get people
Jesus,
together
right?
to actually get a podcast going. So it's not as easy as you think it is. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's crazy, but
I thought it
thank
was
you
gonna be
so
simple.
much.
Yeah, we really
all thought it would
appreciate
be-
you just being able to be here with us, man.
Thank you, Ray. We appreciate you coming on and being our guest, buddy.
yeah, Jeff, and I really appreciate that kind intro. I don't know if I took you underneath my wing, but we definitely were bros, and we were just like, butt to butt in the editing room, just editing away.
Yeah,
So
I know.
that
We were butt to butt, but that was like my first like corporate kind of gig, and you were kind of distant a little bit when I first met you. I don't think you read me very well. You know what I mean? I think you kind of like I did. I think that, and then I think I was in like an elevator. I went downstairs. I remember this. I went downstairs and I think there was like a DJ. And I was like, shit, I think there was like a DJ.
yeah.
I forgot what DJ it was. I don't remember. I can't recall, but I came upstairs. I went into the band. I'm like, Ray, seems like a DJ that you might know. Do you remember who that was?
Oh, that's right.
Shit.
It was Ryan, a.k.a. Cascade.
Cascade? Oh, it was
Oh.
Cascade.
Cascade was in the lobby because he was friends with a guy that was redoing the sound studio in our building, because right next to all the editing bays is the actual place where they record a lot
Yep.
of the soundtracks. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't the full blown symphony like they have out in Burbank and Sony's lot, but it had basically the production version of where they would score music. So
Yeah.
they scored
That's crazy.
a lot of the Killzone products was done there. A lot of God of War was done there. So a lot of the pre-pro would probably be done there, and then the big mastering, orchestral, like bragging rights productions are in Burbank.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
That's right.
That's amazing. I didn't actually know that. That's crazy, though.
Yeah, I filmed the behind the scenes for the soundtrack for Infamous when they were doing that third or fourth game. God, I'm a little burnt out. So just like I completely forgot a lot of the games I worked on. But yeah, I was part of the Infamous soundtrack, and it was kind of neat to just work with the composers and the sound designers, and they were just so down to earth, and they just loved the fact that we were all in the Sony buildings, actually the PlayStation buildings, kind of working, collaborating together.
Yeah,
Well,
that
visually
was such an
awesome.
yeah, that was awesome.
That's just amazing getting to work under Sony. Like what were those experiences like for you guys? Because both of you guys had those experiences working in the field and stuff. Like, guys,
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure your experience is a lot different than mine.
Yeah, well, Ray was there way. How many years? Okay, I showed up in like I think it was like 2014. I can't remember when I showed up, but
Okay.
I know you were there a lot longer. I know you were in front of the camera, and you were actually like you were at the all the conventions. You were one of the
Right.
hosts. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
were
I was one-
you were the
I was-
face.
Yeah, it was one of the props. Literally I'm not kidding. You can ask Jeff. Literally, my arm was the PowerPoint background for everyone's corporate deck,
Mm-hmm.
and I emphasize corporate deck, not dick.
Deep.
This was the background, and it would be so embarrassing to be something out of high school where our VP of marketing at the time, Longworth. Oh my God, it's crazy how these names escape me. But he'd stand me up in front of everyone when we'd have offsites. I mean, in front of 300 people. PlayStation corporate. Rey Gutierrez, please. He was English. Please stand up. And this is a gamer. Look at him. And I'd stand up. Oh, I'm a gamer. Here's what we're fighting for. The gamer. I was like, oh,
that's what we're fighting
so
for.
cringe. But I'm like, of course this would be my reality. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure 10 years from now I'm going to say this story on a podcast. Yeah, I joined PlayStation in 2010, I think, right where like PlayStation blog was just becoming a thing, and nobody had blogs. Nobody knew what Twitter was. Nobody knew what social media was. Nobody knew what influencers were.
Or Twitch or any of that.
Right.
Yeah, nobody knew what any of that was. Like, I launched the Instagram account for PlayStation because they were just like, what is this? We're just going to post photos. I'm like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, I had homies from Twitch like knocking on my door. I'm like, can you introduce us to someone at PlayStation? And I would take those meetings because everyone at PlayStation was like, what the hell is a Twitch? Ray, go talk to them. I'm like, oh, of course. And I'm like, it would be Justin, the original Justin TV crew going, yo, we're legitimate. I'm like, no, I know. I got my start because of you guys. So it was like full circle. Like in 2005, out of my living room, I was hosting video game shows for four people. Multi-camera. Like I look at the fucking Switch deck that Elgato released. And I'm like, I used to do that in 2005 with an RCA input device. Input 1, input 2, input 3. Was literally my camera switcher, and I would do it on camera to brag. And I'm like, yo, I was switching camera on the fly. Here's my wide, here's my tight, here's my hero. And I would actually grab a handheld and point it at the chat room as opposed to having to superimpose like everyone does now. And I'd just be like, please, and people just interact and love it. That was in 2005. And somehow that madness got me into working at the Structoid. And the robot himself discovered me, and within 6 months, we moved to San Francisco. And then within 6 months of that, I started working at PlayStation as social media expert. I kid you not. All my drinking buddies that worked at GamePro, all the websites that don't exist, were making fun of me. They're like, what, you're going to just work at PlayStation and tweet all day? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's just that.
Blog.
You just said something that broke my heart. You said GamePro. Oh, dude, that was a huge part of my childhood.
Oh my God, dude! The editor-in-chief, a good friend of mine, editor-in-chief of Electronic Gaming Monthly. He was my coworker at the PlayStation blog team. Sid Schumann. He was the editor-in-chief of EGM. Or I'm getting that backwards, but I was surrounded by like video game industry royalty, and at that point, while blogs were becoming a thing, corporate America was just recruiting us and just picking us off, and basically said, "We see where we're going with social media. Build it within us and internally." So I'm not fucking bullshitting you. And I apologize for my French.
No, like
go ahead.
Even today, like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we lost Game Info. Like so now the age of like written, publicated, game reviews and a magazine that just comes out monthly, syndicated, it's gone now. It's now everything is 100% digital. And so it's like it's a totally end of an era.
I mean, I don't even think they do PlayStation Experience anymore, right?
No.
Years.
You know how much fun it used to be?
Probably digital, but
they're doing their Nintendo does.
Well, and then it's
which was essentially their own trade show. That's all it was, really. I think because they needed a holiday hit since E3 was dying. They pulled out. They're like, well, how the fuck is the product? How are we going to talk about it?
Well, I mean, okay, but then like you look back at E3 at its prime, and I'll say the prime for like in my brain for E3 was probably like 2002, 2003, 2004 were like a peak block. And that's when you really had like the great three nations went to war with one another of Nintendo, PlayStation, and fucking Microsoft. But it's nobody saw it going the way it was.
That was when the booths were CRT monitors, stacked them on top of each other. That
just was loaded. Like, let's be honest, theirs was less of like a convention in the idea of like San Diego Comic-Con. It was really like just a cash throw. Who can the biggest shit show? Who can just go over?
Oh,
And
for
it
sure,
did.
and it worked. Yeah, because it created such a hype and such an energy, just not among
There
the
it is.
community and gamers and industry, but just amongst each other. It was fun. Like when you got to work with the execs and like Jackie T and like all my boys, like the top dogs, like Andy House, like they're bros, like they're homies, and like they get it. Like they understand that they work in a video game company. And like Jack Trennan would always give me shit or would tell me hilarious stories where he would go golfing with the CEO of GameStop. And the guy at GameStop would be like, "You're gonna fucking put me out of business." And like Jack and T would just laugh at him, like, "Get real, bro." And they would just swing. This is how the CEOs, they're just 5-year-olds. That's something that's never told publicly. Like these CEO punk assholes are amazing gamers or non-gamers, but they're legitimately real individuals that are like, "Yo, I party, I throw down, but I
They're
also run
tapped
these
in.
companies."
Like
Yeah,
they're tapped in. They enjoy their own products, and they're not just there for the checks. But it's just crazy because nobody thought it was going to go the route it did. Of really, like, it's done. It's donezo no funzo anymore. Everyone thought it was going to be like San Diego Comic-Con and be around for 40, 50 years. And that's just not the case, because now nobody's doing that. But it's kind of fun to see. Like, I went to San Diego Comic-Con this year. Like Funko, I collected. That's my whole bag.
Can't tell.
They always go over the top. Like their displays and the staff there, they make it like a theatric experience. So it's always fun and engaging because, just like you said, they're creating that hype. So it's always fun to do that.
And E3 was also important because it was also almost like a graduation, like a coming of age. If you were working in the industry and part of production and part of corporate, like Jeff and I were, E3 was like, like a peak of the year.
Yeah.
We'd everyone would reunite, talk shit about each other's games, grab a beer, and unwind before that. That last push, where that last crunch came in to meet the holidays. That was a time to celebrate. It's like, dude, I've been out for 3 years. I've had 2 kids, and like, here's where our code is right now. Oh man, looks amazing. How are things at Xbox? Fuck you guys. It would be amazing. And it was just like high school. Like when I wouldn't be on camera, like I'd go visit all the booths. Like I'd be snuck into the Xbox booth. Like I remember my first Comic-Con with my PlayStation hoodie, and I got to meet Hideo Kojima-san, the creator of Metal Gear Solid, at the Xbox party.
I got to meet him a couple years ago at San Diego when Tekken Street Fighter came out. I got to meet him. And
how humble is that guy?
Amazing, dude. Like, I'm going to be honest. I've gotten to meet Stan Lee. I've gotten to meet a few epic creators, and dude just has good people.
Yeah,
like good people. Like, I'll tell you what, finding a copy of Metal Gear Solid Nintendo from the NES that signed was
the original.
The original one was almost near impossible. But it was worth it. To hand him the copy, he was so excited to see it.
You've had that, dude? The only one I had was the PlayStation Metal Gear
I didn't
Solid.
even know it was a thing. My friend told me, and so like he was even there too, and so he did the same thing. He got his copy from when he was a kid.
I'm going to mention this. Well, you guys have a big viewership. I'm sure this is episode 5 or whatever. I don't want to ruin your KFAB and your.
We don't mention what episode we're on.
Okay, cool. So I won't fuck up your KFAB or the order of what you're releasing. But I know you guys have a big audience, especially in your Facebook group, and maybe he might be listening somehow. But I don't want to mention his name because he's still publicly in, like, the face of Xbox. But he used to be my boss, and he would throw for PlayStation Blog. We would throw community events before anyone else would do that. So at one of these community events for our was it PlayStation Heroes or PlayStation? I forgot. God, PlayStation VIPs. I think it was. We were celebrating the release of Metal Gear, I believe, on the PSP. Something bizarre, something that marketing didn't want to touch. But Kojima-san confirmed that he was going to show up. Of course, he doesn't show up. So out of anger, out of spite, Jeff, we'll just call him Jeff. That's his real name, actually. Jeff.
My name's Jeff.
Had a signed limited edition PlayStation 3 with Metal Gear Solid 4, signed by Kojima-san, still in its box. And out of spite, he would use it as a door stopper. You'd go into his office, and there it was, sitting, holding his fucking door. And every time I'd go, so what's up with the door stopper? He's like, fuck Kojima-san, he fucking sold me out. His stupid exclusive console's going to be holding my fucking door. That's how we would roll at PlayStation. I was like, oh, shit.
Dude, hey, Ray, were you there when, can't remember, PlayStation, I was there. They rolled out a fucking pallet of PlayStation 2s unboxed.
No, I was not there for that.
Holy shit, Ray! I think that's when you left. For you people don't know, Ray left to do a movie. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But Ray, they pulled out a pallet of PlayStation 2s unboxed, and guess how much they sold it to? Guess how much they sold it to us for?
What?
$30. Yeah, it was limited to 2.
That's
and
crazy.
I bought 2 of them, dude. I bought 2 of them, put them in the thing, and then all of a sudden they came up with another pallet of PlayStation 2s unboxed, dude.
You would have no idea.
I'm not even shitting you. And then I bought another 2.
I guarantee you HR created that entire nonsense because HR is probably the most disconnected from the culture of PlayStation ever. Like, they would throw the cringiest, like weird, like, do we work at PlayStation? And they're just like,
no, they don't.
What?
But
it's
dude,
just like,
so
it took forever for that campus to look blue and like branded. It took forever.
It really did, right? But when they pulled those things out, I go $30. I went on there, I went instantly on eBay to see how much they were going for unboxed. Dude, I sold 2 of them for $650 a pop.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I bought them for $30.
You should have held it up and be like, this is legitimately from the fucking PlayStation campus.
I should have, and it probably got.
Look, it literally is like in the air. That's a times 2 already of value.
But I'm like,
that's a newbie move on your part, man. Newbie move.
It was a totally moon. But the problem is, I was so excited. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys are pulling pallets of unboxed PlayStation 2s. It's 2015.
I think that's the weirdest thing is not that they were PS2s, that they were fucking unboxed. It's just, who had that many PS2s just sitting around unboxed for like 10 years?
Pallets. I'm talking
of them,
pallets.
hundreds.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some headlines for this podcast. I'm going to make sure people listen to this one. My second week at PlayStation, I can confirm I saw the Super Nintendo PlayStation in my face, like right there. And Jerry Jessup, one of the godfathers of PlayStation, that was in the room when Ken Kutaragi lost his shit over Nintendo. He was one of the followers of the Super Nintendo PlayStation, and I saw it, and I shot an entire BTS on it, and it did not clear legal. And the VP of PR
what was this? What was it?
The original PlayStation Nintendo that Nintendo and Sony made and called PlayStation. It was essentially the Nintendo CD-ROM, the original PlayStation.
Yep.
Yeah, before Nintendo turned their backs on Sony and went to fucking, what's their name?
I did not know about this.
You didn't know about this classic story? Like, this
I did not. I would like to think that I'm a pretty cultured 90s kid, but apparently I'm a fucking street urchin.
Dude,
like, I'm sorry, dude.
Have you ever played a 989 Studios game? Jeff and I were at the 989 Studios.
Holy shit.
It was literally between 414, whatever the fuck it was, 919, and 9 was Safeway. Where we all
hand grenade.
We're at the old campus. Oh, Jeff, were you at the old campus? Or did you make it to the old campus?
No, I didn't get the old campus. I was when you guys went to the new one.
Campus. Oh, dude, I was in the 90s. Skynet, Terminator, low ceilings, like the 80s is the future, buildings, Sony, like 989 Studio. Oh,
I got in when they was it Foster City. That's the one. That's the Foster City campus.
Yeah, and
that's the only one.
San Mateo, which was literally Foster.
San Mateo. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, we should literally have an entire that's why I want to. Well, we can get into that later because I'm launching a domain. Like one of my brands is PlayStation Lab. Whereas essentially just these anecdotal stories from the source, from me. Mm-hmm. It's going to be exclusive to Twitter or X. It's PlayStation Lab, the testimonials of a PlayStation brat. So it's kind of just like these off-the-cuff moments where it's just like, this one time when PSN got hacked, that map that showed the sections that were being lit as in like these sections of PSN are now accessible because they're not hacked. So we did that by quadrants across the United States first. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a map or any way to signalize that. So I'm the dude that designed the quick map, knew the information, designed the quadrants. And on a Sunday afternoon, I believe in my underwear, I wish I still had that photo because I took that fucking photo of me posting. Like, here's the map. Here are the quadrants that we're unlocking. If you rewind time and if the PlayStation blog archives are still there, and those were some dark times. Yeah. I was the dude that basically helped announce the quadrants. And I've always didn't want to say that because there was some crazy legal ramifications of all the nonsense that happened when PSN got hacked. Like, the head of PR and marketing was on the phone with the FBI and FBI every single morning, figuring out what the fuck happened. And like, as a matter of fact, Kaz Hirai's apology, where he's sitting by in the corporate office, he shot it twice. The first time he didn't smile enough. The second time he smiled just enough. I'm the asshole that edited that video.
Really?
Like, they didn't give it to marketing. They didn't give it to what's his face, Michael B's team, our team. Remember, Jeff? They gave it to social media. They gave it to me.
Wow.
So when the rock stars that helped launch the PS4 all left and go, sayonara, Sony, got headhunted by Xbox, and then Amazon and Google because they were going to release their stupid streaming platforms. I finally got pulled away as the face of PlayStation and got thrown into marketing as punishment.
That's why you got thrown in the dungeon with me, buddy.
Oh yeah, it was the first 2.5 years of PlayStation were a dream. Got to travel the world, got to party, got to play games with my favorite people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was. I come from the industry, from the journalistic side, and then I would go from the production side to see it all come full circle and like to tell people it's true. All of it is true.
Yeah,
right.
It's an amazing experience. But then the yin to the yang was when I got pulled out of PR and social media, the party stopped, and then the regime changed. Jackie T left. We got Sean Layden coming in, and let's not even get started with what's his fucking face.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Which is why PlayStation's in the shitter now.
Well,
and
that's
I can give you hours as to why PlayStation's in the shitter now. So.
Yeah, I know.
When you talk about like that segment ending, like that when one door closed, another one opens because like that segues right into what we're talking about today with Power Rangers. And like you had this opportunity to not only just enjoy Power Rangers as a 90s kid, but you actually got to work hand in hand with some of our favorite creators and some of our favorite actors on that franchise. So tell us, how did you even get into that? What was that like?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would probably say that through the power of the divine energy of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
all glory goes to Lord Zed.
Yeah, right. Not to get biblical, but I'm like, to be asked that question as I'm sitting in my home office that used to be the room that I grew up in as a child. This is the room that I would fantasize about being the Green Ranger. I didn't identify with the Red Ranger. I didn't identify with any of the other Pantone colors. I identified with the green one. I identified with the outsider, the villain, the one that didn't have the mom nor dad, because I didn't have any of that. And when I saw this character that was far cool, but also flamboyant, very comfortable, long hair, really pretty, sharper, longer as opposed to shorter Jason from Austin. You know,
you gotta love Tommy.
The symmetry. You can see the symmetry and the change, which is why I've been my getup. So to put that energy out there, and then years later to come face to face with the man himself, Jason David Frank, in such a casual way where I just basically put my hand out and shook his hand as a human being. And he kind of just grabbed my hand and he looks at me and he goes, "I like your tats." I go, "Thanks, bud." And then we went right into work. And to go from playing with action figures, and I mean the real ones, not the tiny little. I mean the real.
You mean the big old 9-inch ones?
Big ones with the.
I love those ones.
Yeah,
it was Battle for the Grid because I was working on the mobile version for about 2 to 3 years with Enway, and then that was built on Unity, so that was easier. That was easy to upscale to a console. The plan was always to go with the console, so I was part of that train, and just going from PlayStation to filming a movie to now working on production as in a studio as opposed to corporate and working on that IP. The thing is that Saban was throwing the IP around to the Disney, to Fox, to now
everybody. Because who did he settle on? Did he settled on Disney, right? Who ended up picking up Saban?
Netflix is now the owner of Power Rangers. Saban is still very much Saban. I'm not quite sure.
Because I remember when he was shopping it around to everybody.
Yeah, he was basically
right before the move to New Zealand. I remember he was shopping that around to everyone.
I believe he was a DJ or radio host or something like that. But I finally got to work with Jason David Frank, and I say the word finally because I just never thought I'd
finally. I know, right,
dude? You know what? I wish I could have met him. Like looking back in hindsight, I had so many opportunities to meet him at conventions. And I always just said, like, okay, one, he's young, so that idea that he's not going to be here forever never even crossed my mind. So I always said, like, okay, I'll catch him next year at San Diego or LA Comic Con, or I'll just catch him. It's not a big deal. and
Yeah.
until you can't. And then it's just
Yeah.
like, man, I would have
Yeah.
loved to just meet this man.
Yeah,
Seemed
I
like a good
actually
guy.
have about 5 hours of BTS footage of me directing with him and shooting, filming him, because we did a couple of things. We rented an Airbnb down the street from his place. Sweet little place. I wanted to make sure it looked like a living room, so we shot photos and video of him and his daughter, because we were promoting not just
Wow.
the Xbox and PlayStation version, but we were promoting the Nintendo Switch version. And she was a lot younger back then. This was just a couple of years ago, but she was the spokesperson for the Switch version. So I did a photo shoot with him and his daughter, like pretending to be playing the Xbox version, the PlayStation version, the Nintendo version. And it was just literally myself, his daughter, him, his publicist, and my partner in crime at the time, helping me with photos and catering and just making an ambiance of the reality that two of
That's
his biggest fans are working with him, you know.
And it's just
Yeah.
super intimate too. So that's just absolutely amazing. You know, that you got to even work with stuff that you grew up loving. Like,
Yeah.
not
I mean,
very many people ever get that.
no.
What was crazy to me was kind of being on my knees because the camera was angled to controller level. So he's staring at the camera like he's watching the television, and he's staring right at me because I'm looking through the lens. And he's just trying to get comfortable, warmed up. He's a little shy. And I go, Jay, just give me a couple of cigars. Oh, okay. Cigar. And I'm just like talking his language. I'm like, all right, buddy. Now give me this, give me that. Now give me Neo Ranger. And he's just like loving it because I can just speak Power Ranger to him.
Boom.
So that was that connection. And then he just kind of, what's that, buddy?
Oh no, I was asking Jeff. Were you able to find the
I'm trying
trailer,
to pull
Jeff?
it up. How can I find this trailer? I want to show the
Battle
people.
for the Grid.
What's it? Battle of the Grid.
Launch trailer? It's on the YouTube channel. Yeah, all of my stuff is private for now until I launch it. So I'd be bragging about it. I was actually going to try to see if I could cut a sizzle of the behind the scenes experience with him.
Oh, that would have been sick. Maybe we could have you back on and we'll do another episode.
It's really listening to him like cursing and like talking like a gamer, and me sitting next to him and like really having like a face to face. And what's beautiful about the relationship that we established after that is that he was a very passionate actor. He wrote his own very dramatic scripts, and he was going through a very troubled time because no one took him serious.
I mean, did you see signs of anything like when you were with him? Like, to be honest with you, when I saw that trailer, the trailer that you did, I was like, to be honest with you, I didn't even know you guys were in the same room at that point. It was so good. So it was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, Ray, did you really meet him?
I really didn't. Well, I shot the whole thing, and then we were going back and forth with Boom Comics and, oh my God, Hasbro, because Hasbro at the time was running the show. And they basically were like, we need an insert shot of the Red Ranger because the whole premise was just him playing with a multiplayer. I didn't know I was going to be cast as that person, so I had to insert myself, and I filmed myself. Here. So all the helmets in the opening shots, I filmed them in my living room in front of my TV. So the TV just had like sparkles, and I just basically had the helmet rotate with my hand just to get an effect. The original vision was you're going to try to get a macro shot of the helmet flying out. I'm like, the only way to pull that off is if I had that lens that they have today, which is the long lens that you can attach to your iPhone. Right. Or if we were shooting the polygonal version, we were shooting a 4D asset. We didn't have either. And the stuff that we did have was low poly because it was Unity, even though it was rendered in Maya. But we were pressed on time because we were essentially just burning code and launching. That's the way of the beast. That's the process.
The nature of the beast right there.
Right. There you go. The nature of the beast. Thank you for that. So what you're about to see on the helmet shots, those were shot in my living room with a TV in the back. A lot of it is composited. A lot of the lights is all composites, colored, added dust particles, all composite. But it's really just the real Japanese helmets from the Japanese version of the show. Like they literally still had the Japanese. Yeah, they still had the initials inside the helmet of who wore it. You could still spell them. Yeah, that's a TV screen. Comp. Unity. Yeah, this was the very first alpha build.
Nice.
We only had 3 characters running, which was these 3.
Got the gameplay.
It's morphin' time.
So just to give you some insight, yeah, like those were the actual helmets.
Mm-hmm.
The crew at Enway made some phone calls, and they actually pulled out of archives from Japan the actual helmets of the Green Ranger and Red Ranger. Filmed it here, and then all of the gameplay footage was essentially they only had 3 characters done, so they had enough to kind of show, hey, let's start getting pre-orders in the bag because that's what's going to help us fund this game for the next 6 months. This is how this industry works. That's why pre-orders are so important. That's why critic scores are so important, because that's the livelihood of somebody's family. So when someone's keyboard warring it on the internet and spewing hate, I'm like, that's somebody's family. That's somebody's job. There were several. That was the announced teaser. And then
that was the launch trailer for it. Yeah, the announcement.
We eventually launched the Street Fighter universes colliding. I announced Rey Ranger. I was the director that announced the Street Fighter universe collaboration with Power Rangers. I cut that trailer. We announced that as well.
Awesome.
And my last trailer with that was the announcement of Lord Draken.
Nice.
Absolutely love it, dude. Just that whole comic series from IDW of just breaking the grid was just phenomenal. Like the introduction of Draken easily, like I think it was slept on. That whole IDW comic run of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is freaking amazing. I love where they're going with the Omega Rangers. Like even bringing in, the idea of now they don't even have Rita Repulsa. They have Rita Repulsive, I think it is. Like it's crazy, but they even have I think we talked about this earlier, like Lord Zed is a Power Ranger now. It's crazy where they're going with all this stuff, but Lord
really
Draken was just amazing. And did you ever get to watch Legend of the White Dragon?
I did not, but Jason and I spoke of it because he wanted to just kind of, not just capitalize, but like he's a business person at the end of the day. Like he actually runs a franchise, a string of his schools.
Yeah,
and like that's how he kind of made his living. But he also made a phenomenal living, doing his signings at conventions.
Very much.
That's how he encouraged all the rest of the Rangers that he was still friends with to come out, because you can make a decent livelihood just sitting there and like experiencing a moment with your fan base.
People want to see it, even. Like, Austin is always on the convention circuit. David Yost is always there. Everybody it's a great way. And it's cool because not only do they go and they're like, okay, I'm going to, like you said, make a living doing this, but they really genuinely appreciate the Mighty Morphin Power Range fan base. Like there is so much love from both sides of the table there. Like I personally love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'll die on that hill. And,
absolutely.
And the idea of like Kimberly, like Amy Jo Johnson loves her fans. David Yost loves his fans. And even his version on the Netflix for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. What was do you guys remember the name of it? Wasn't it like a Return to the Grid or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. I feel like that was such a fan service. I kind of just saw glimpses.
I love it.
Like I was already indoctrinated by what Boom was doing with the side quests.
Man.
Yeah, because when it went that route, it was basically just a fan service. They weren't really expanding. It's like episode 1 of Star Wars versus episode 7. Like episode 7.
That was for us '90s kids right there. That's what
episode 1 was a fresh new take, and we saw Coruscant, we saw battle droids, we saw a bunch of new stuff, which Lucas really pushed. And so now we get these sequel trilogy. It's like the same stuff. Anyways, that's a completely different podcast.
But it's even crazy because, like, I don't know. Like, when we look at it, like, I can't even count how many seasons of Power Rangers we have. I think they're 25 to 35 seasons.
Did they go that far?
Yeah,
they're still going today.
I still think they're going.
Like,
I zonked out after Zeo. I stopped after Zeo.
Oh, really God.
Did it like Turbo Island? And then I jumped back in and Lost in Space. Because Lost in Space was deliberately designed with nostalgia in mind, which is why they brought all the villains in the first episode.
Well, so, okay, here's my question for you guys. Jeff, how much of it have you actually watched? Like, how many seasons did you get it?
Shit. Back in the day, I was watching that religiously. I remember they coming out with, the action figures. And I was, like, obsessed. So I probably watched, I was probably good 10 seasons, 11 seasons I probably watched it for.
Okay.
I mean... I think all the way up to White Ranger, and I was like, as soon as they introduced the Green Ranger, I'm like, yeah, as a new, you know what I mean, new Ranger.
Oh God! And for 4 episodes, we watched Tommy just give him the business. God, I love that scene when he just jumped up into the sky and just all of a sudden he's in the command center, like in the head, and he's like, "What the fuck? You're not supposed to be in here. Shut up, bitch!"
And then when the Green Ranger dies, I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden, this White Ranger comes out of nowhere. I'm like, okay.
That was our Jesus Christ moment, like resurrection. Like Tommy comes back 3 days later as the White Ranger.
She's back.
But no, it's crazy. They just finished up the newest season. I want to say was Cosmic Fury. They just finished that one up on Netflix. But it's different now that it's over in New Zealand. But
so they bounced around because now it's in New Zealand. It's been
right,
New Zealand for quite a
because now it's actually like for the most part like original stuff. For he's trying to do more than what he was doing. But so let me ask, what season did you guys like the best? Like, what was your favorite season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Do you want to go first, Jeff?
Go ahead. You go first.
He knows I'll make fun of him.
Well, the thing is, I'm gonna go with the happy memories, as in like I remember when the Green Ranger saga was over. I think it was 3 episodes or 5 episodes.
Okay,
and then it took like another year or so, or a good chunk of episodes before we started to see his green candle dissipate, and they didn't know what quite to do with his character. And that's when they introduced the White Ranger. I remember what it was like because I'm like, oh, they show the good episodes Saturday morning, the fresh new episodes, and the reruns are usually on weekdays.
Yeah.
And then when they were teasing the announcement of a new Ranger, this was prime time. I remember watching it
right
at 8:00 at night. I was like, "Whoa, this is an event!
Join us for a 3-night event." And it's like
blew my mind.
Sunday.
It's the Green Ranger, but faster. Oh, and like he busts out his talking sword. I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Saba, and he can talk to it." And like that only happened for like 2 episodes.
It so was though.
God.
Like, dude, they had that on Fox. Like, and it was just crazy. Like you said, prime time. Like this was a commercial of like, join us Monday night and watch the new season of Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers.
You want new Rangers with new Zords and new powers? Join us Monday night. It's like
Monday.
Yeah, am I watching a monster truck event?
Yeah. Like that Fox Kids voiceover guy was amazing. Like, what is such a great time for Fox Kids? Batman, X-Men, Power Rangers.
What a lineup, dude!
Such a lineup.
Yeah. So mine was, you pretty much stole mine, but mine was the Green Ranger. Like pretty much the Green Ranger was like, I was all into the Red Ranger, and then the Green Ranger came and just destroyed the Red Ranger, and I was like, okay, now you're not the leader anymore.
Yeah,
We're going for the Green Ranger.
That rivalry was really real. They don't like each other at all.
Really? In real life?
I don't know. That rivalry is very real. Yeah. He would tell me funny stories. He's like, yeah, I never fucking liked that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he came in and sold.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, we always had this poster, and I always found like gibberish written on my face or some shit. And like, he would always give me all these weird stories. And he would always tell me that Amy Jo Johnson, of course, you would know, she's a huge stoner, and like she was always stoned. Like she'd be in the Power Rangers and like blaze.
Yeah. See that?
Good for her.
God, like it's just I love it, man. But so like also one of the things that you got this opportunity to do, like was getting to work with them, and so we're talking about you were enjoying that original Power Ranger season, right?
Oh yeah.
What about for you, Jeff?
When the movie came out, I think it was when did the first movie come out? Because that movie was pretty good. I to be honest with you, I loved it. That I don't remember when the first Power Ranger movie came out. I was pretty pumped on it. I was beyond pumped, and I think that was like CGI first came out, and it was it was hitting pretty good, and I was like,
Ivan Ooze.
Yeah, the Ooze. Yeah, I mean, it was a little corny, but I mean, it was actually pretty good. It was dark too. It wasn't like light. Like,
yeah, you're
right.
The
whole movie was dark.
It really was.
How it was shot, it was just.
It looked like a movie. It wasn't like a TV show. I remember.
Right.
A
lot of it was shot at night, which you never saw in the TV shows.
Nope.
You look at the episodes, nothing ever happens at night.
Nothing.
All day
ever.
time. Broad day, like noon.
Because
like, what the fuck?
They would be at high school going, oh shit, we gotta go.
Right. Let's not mention that fact that these 5 kids just dipped out mid-class to go and beat up other people and things, dude, and then just return to class. And nobody magically knew the kids in matching outfits were these Power Rangers. Damn, that's a coincidence right there. Shut up.
I love
I don't like those big words.
I remember when the putties went from just regular putties to the Zed putties, and I was like, wow, what an upgrade! They're going to be undefeatable. And then, like, I remember hit the Z's to defeat them. I'm like, wow, you're going to have to hit the Z's now. Like, so...
That sounds like either like it needs to be in like a Z's inline movie, like Airborne. Like, I'm hitting the Z's, bro. No way, man. You're hitting the Z's way too hard.
You got that Z bar.
Yeah. It's like that Artist Foods commercial. Make the graphics better in level 4. Level 4 needs more graphics. Hey, sign up for the artist. God. So
what about for you, Jeff? What was your favorite season of Power Rangers?
I told you it was when the Green Ranger came in, and we had a few seasons. So he stole my lightning because I was loving, like I said, I love the Red Ranger. I was like, this guy's awesome. I mean, obviously he's the leader. Nerd. Yep. Super nerd.
Nerd. I don't even have the nerd button, so you cue the nerd.
I got the nerd button. Hold on, here we go. I'm gonna nerd it.
Cue it on. Nerd! Cue it on yourself, nerd.
Nerd. So I was nerding out. I was like, yeah. And all of a sudden, this Green Ranger comes out. I'm like, yep. I threw him aside, and I was like, Green Ranger.
That's the one.
And then as soon as Green Ranger went, I'm like, shit. And then White Ranger came in. That's pretty much when I really. I was always into it, but Green Ranger came in, got me locked. White Ranger, and then I think I lost after the White Ranger, and I kind of just fell off after that part. But that was probably the best. That was probably the best seasons. Was probably towards the end of when I started watching. I can't remember what season it was, but that's probably when I kind of stopped watching it.
I always enjoyed the fact that it was people in a Godzilla suit. I always loved the original Godzilla.
Love it more than anything.
Oh, that was the best thing in the planet.
I love the fact that everything was just kind of like bandied together and scotch taped together, and like everybody was getting paid shit, but everybody was just like really passionate about this.
I could see the zipper.
Yeah, everybody was really into it. It's like, what else? It was kind of like content creation back then, because at that scale, if you really think about it, like
dude, they sold the shit out of that, dude. Like when that Megazord hit him with that slash, you'd swear to God, like. He turned him inside out. All I can hear is like Jim Ross from
sparks
WWE.
When they hit each other was fucking phenomenal.
Like, it's amazing. Like, it really was more like theatrics and drama than it was anything like. And there's where even like Saban totally figured out the formula.
Yeah,
like, kudos to that man. Like he may not be known for a whole lot, but being known for taking existing footage, and this goes for not only Super Sentai, but even Kamen Rider with the Mass Rider series, Big Bad Beetleborgs, VR Troopers.
Takes
existing stuff and is able just to find ways to get it onto the English market where Westerners just eat it up. Yeah. Like some VR Troopers maybe wasn't as big as like, Power Rangers, but it was good. Right. Big Bad Beetleborgs, I thought that was solid.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was VR Troopers and Beetleborgs that actually had fights at night, because I deliberately remember the buildings having the lights on. I'm like, whoa, cool.
That's neat.
And I remember that they would have their fights at night.
They're fighting in Alaska. There's never any
It's nighttime for 24 hours.
I'll still argue that was Jay Leno underneath that suit the whole time, man. Like, either that or like they had to get permission to be like, because as soon as he saw that, he's like, fuck you, they're making fun of me. He had to have seen that, but that's kudos to him.
To rewind to back in Green, like some of my favorite content to make when I was contracted by Enway was the vignettes, the character vignettes. So we actually had free access to use all of the Netflix footage of the old episodes. I would literally just screen grab or record grab off of Netflix. There was no like email, hey, Mr. Netflix, can I get access? No.
Can I please?
No, just do it like what everyone else does. And I would grab the episodes of the Green Ranger, and then I would cut the vignettes announcing, like, when we announced the Dragon Zord, a Zord for the mobile game, I was the director of the little trailer that announced it. And I'm like, we really should use the footage because the animations are so obviously you're referencing the show. Right. So I was able to grab clips from the actual Netflix show and cut it into the trailers and use it as marketing material.
Just
So it was
giving
really
it
neat
that
to
much
tell
more
those
character.
It's got a game catcher
absolutely.
with
So
Animus.
supers was one of the supers was the Green Ranger jumping into the cockpit of the Megazord and like kicking everyone's ass. So it was part of the game. So you saw this little character jumping to the Zord and kicking everyone's ass, and you'll see the Zord. So I'm like, oh, that's a great moment to show when it happens in the show.
Yeah.
Where he kind of like it's actually the toy, and then he like opens the door and he's like, God, he's like kicking everyone's ass.
Just giving them the business, dude. Hands for days over there.
I remember Trinity got it the worst. She's like the first one out. Bah, poor Trinity.
What the fuck? Where did Trinity go? Man,
We're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna go to movie talk. I think.
all right.
We're gonna go
What
to
do
movie
we
talk.
got?
All right, we're gonna go to movie talk. I think so. We're gonna go ahead and hit this button. Okay, so the first, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, everybody, and we're gonna go to movie talk. So Ray actually left PlayStation for a good reason. He actually started his. Well, yeah, I remember you did. I think you were fed up. I can see it in your eyes, and you got this opportunity, Ray, to DP a horror movie, and I was like, "What?" You came to me. You actually asked me if I could come.
What
and
did
I'm
you
like,
just say? You got the chance to DP a whore? What?
horror movie?
All right, you got to be
dirty,
like Jeff
dirty-
Gordon. You got to pronunciate, man. We're gonna need
Sorry,
that
my
over
slurring.
pronunciation.
I
No,
am
I
so
love it. That's
sorry.
gonna be the highlight clip. What?
What? You got a DP a whore? There's no way we can even sell this to like God-fearing
This is how we get in
states. Like
trouble.
nobody, nobody in a God-fearing state of Utah is gonna watch this.
Yeah, every time I pop my head out in public, this is how I get in trouble. This is how I get
All right, everybody, wrap it up. It's done now. We can't do it. We're fucked.
Yeah, so Ray, you got the opportunity to do this. I was super proud of you doing this. Like, as soon as you told me you were doing this, I was like, "Fucking do it!" I think you tried to recruit me, and I was like,
Yeah.
do it," you know. And I'm totally kicking myself in the ass because like I would love that opportunity. I think I was in a little getting married and having a kid at the same time. I don't know what I was doing,
Your wife is
but
beautiful.
you know,
Heaven
You know,
forbid you were having a family.
no, I don't think I was having a family at the time. I just probably couldn't afford going out there and doing it and whatever. But you know, Ray did it. He got up and fucking went out and hit it. And I absolutely, to be honest with you, I think it's a great B movie.
Yeah.
You know,
You
did a
like
great
some
job.
Good, like, honestly, you love some good cheesy horror. I fucking love this, dude. Like everything. It's so woke. It's fucking crazy. I love it.
He was ahead of his time. The writer
Yeah.
and director, Glenn Douglas Packard. He's one of my good friends. He almost passed away, and he never got the chance to shoot his dream movie. So he met me.
He
in San
passed
Francisco.
away?
He didn't pass away. He almost passed away.
Okay.
And he didn't get a chance to shoot his dream movie, and it really scared him. So
What?
we had a meeting. We had a meeting in San Francisco. It was at a. God, can I believe? I need to go back to the Bay, man. My memories.
No stress. So, Jeff, let's go ahead
Just
and
say
throw
what
that
it is.
trailer up and let's check
Yeah.
this out.
God, I just can't remember the name of the restaurant. Anyways.
It's fine. Go
So,
ahead.
Ray got the opportunity to be the DP on this horror film
and slash
called
editor.
Pitchfork. And it was absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead and throw this trailer up and let's share this beautiful footage with y'all.
Yeah, let's go. And if you want to share a little bit too, Ray, while we're going through it a little bit, I guess you'd commentary it if you want to.
Mom. Dad. This is the gang. There's Gordon.
Notice how it looks like a Power.
Claire.
It looks like Power Rangers.
Matt. That's Rocky.
Super cool, dude. I mean, some of these shots are pretty cool.
Janelle?
Ray.
Lennox.
What the hell was that?
And that's Flo.
Oh yeah, I love the red. Yep.
Let's go, motherfucker.
Ray, the sun's coming out. How do we get this last shot of him fighting Pitchfork? It's a dream sequence. We'll just blow out the windows. Like, I'm like, just lean right into it. There's no way we're gonna fight the sun. It's a dream sequence. Let's just blow out the window. It's gonna look cool.
And we'll just turn everything blue to make it look
Yeah,
nighttime.
Exactly.
there it
The sun was
is.
coming up. We're shooting.
What
on-
is overexpose everything?
Nah, I thought it was great, dude. I was super impressed.
That's amazing, though.
And what did you shoot that on?
That was a Sony A7 I. That wasn't even a 2.
The one?
That was a 1 shooting.
Wow.
Reference was 1080p, in camera was 1080p, but it was being the 4K signal was being put into a Shogun back in the day.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So it was essentially a little Shogun as my viewfinder, and then the camera, and then I mostly shot on a 35 prime Zeiss 1.4 f-stop. That was my hero.
Oh.
And then the wide shots was 10 mil. I love to shoot 70. I love the big anamorphic looks, but that's going to be future projects. For this, my big thing, Glenn is such a big horror buff. He loves horror movies, and he doesn't care about the quality, because when you're that ingrained into B-level horror, you're more about the last girl, the gore.
Right.
It's very rare that you'll see a lot of complexity in shots.
Yeah.
A lot of the horror is shot with a black backdrop. You can shoot that
Simple
anywhere.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, if you look close at the movie, at the trailer, you'll even see that the trees and the horizon in the back are lit. I went through hell to like make sure that we rented a construction light that had a really powerful beam. I'm like, I just need light to cut through my lens so I can give scope to the shots.
Yeah.
Right.
So the reason why the movie won so many awards was because I'm tricking your eyes. I'm giving you eye candy as much as possible. So you can just watch the movie on mute. So you can even watch, if you grab the movie not frame by frame, but you can see the color temperatures change.
Yeah.
The opening 15, 40 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it is all happy and orange, very poppy, music video, 90s, Britney Spears. And then as the night settles, we start going into the blues, which was intentionally shot to look like a Terminator movie. I love how James Cameron shot it too. I was hoping I could get just laser flares and make it look like Skynet future. I love that blue. So that's why you see it so like, I want it to feel like you're watching a James Cameron film at that point.
Yeah.
And then
you blew my mind on that thing, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Like, and then just simple philosophy of human nature. Peace means cameras on sticks, still shots. I wanted to keep away from a lot of quality is lost when shots are shaky and things are handheld. People start cutting corners. I'm like, no, we're not cutting corners. We're sitting the camera on sticks because this is how you shoot a movie. We're not shooting content. We're shooting a movie. So like we're all trained and understand the philosophies that we're going to sit the camera here. We're going to use this kind of prime lens because this is how you shoot a movie. Now, if you want to go shoot content and put your film on Redbox, knock yourself out. Right. We're shooting a movie here. So like when I was still at PlayStation, I was taking pre-production calls. So like, well, what kind of lighting do you want? I'm like, I just want LEDs. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't want anything running off of I don't want any cables. Everything must run off of batteries. I had a crew of 2. I'm like, I have to think. I don't have the manpower to have real lights. I don't have the manpower. I don't have grips. I don't have anybody. I got a shiner that can shine the light, and I can get some key lighting.
Then that's about
but
it.
I have to run everything on batteries. So all those lights you see, all those little blue hints, that's an LED Amazon light from back in the day when there were Kinos and Amazon was now pervy to whatever they do now. But back then, they were a little more expensive, but they were still running on battery, and they were LEDs. They were strong enough because I was shooting on Sony. And if you shoot on Sony, it's
low light killer.
I'm like, I'm going to shoot on Sony because I can just rack this fucking ISO and just have hints of color and no grain, and it blows my mind. And like, I would look at shots and I was like, holy shit, that's in camera. And I'm like, as long as I understand what the camera's capturing, I'm just filling the frame. I'm shooting a video game. Movies and video games are just a puppet show. It's you've got this widescreen. As long as you can do this very well, like, hey, what's going on, guys? You can shoot a movie. You can make a game. Because it's just fill in the frame and then understand blocking. Well, now if someone's talking, frame right over here. It's like, that's how Quentin Tarantino shoots films. It's like, I already got it in the edit. Why do I have to reshoot that? I can just fix it. Like, you're thinking.
You're thinking that. Well, that's good because, what goes hand in hand, too, is you're shooting, you're an editor as well. So
Oh,
you're shooting, you're thinking, got it,
Coverage.
done.
Coverage.
And no one knows what you're thinking. So I have that problem too. So when I'm shooting something, everyone's, you sure you got it? Like, dude, I'm already editing as I'm shooting in my fucking head. You know what I mean?
And that was another thing we had to lean into because we only had 25 days to shoot this thing.
Yeah. Where'd you shoot this thing at?
We shot it in Michigan. We shot it at the Glenn Douglas Packard's farm. Like the Packards have the largest cattle farm. That's all legitimate. Like
Really?
Was it like one location? I mean, you had what was your budget, dude?
The original was 80K.
Wow.
Only 10 of that was delegated to me. To
Wow. So
most of the budget was audio. I'm like, most of the budget was audio. If I knew what I knew then, I'm like, we could have saved all that money on audio and we could have just fucking Foleyed the shit out of it and shot a cartoon afterwards. I'm like, we're just shooting a cartoon. Why do we have to spend all that? The only time I lost my fucking cool and like went Michael Bay was because audio was taking forever. And mind you, I was an idiot running with 6 LED lights trying to light a wide shot. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to do this? I don't have enough lights for this wide shot. Mm-hmm. So if you watch the movie, there's a couple of shots where it's like, huh? Like, that's the best I can do. So I was already like anxieties. And then audio is like, one of my actresses is like, is this mic packed on right? And when she asked me that, I'm like, honey, I have to light this shot with 6. And you're going to ask me such a simple question?
And
that's why I lost my audio.
You're probably this close to snapping probably 90% of the time on that shoot.
It was high. In my mind, it's always high energy. And I've gotten my hand slapped and beyond because of that. But that's something I've learned at 41 now that I'm a little just because I enjoy running teams, running my own self, punishing myself because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I make money off of my art is a privilege and a luxury. And I completely am aware of that. So for me to fight for that and protect that is very humbling, but also very me. Yeah. And I just try to inspire fellow artists to really take themselves serious and really believe in themselves.
Oh,
I got this, and I don't even believe myself yet. Like I'm still yet to like. I'm about to launch Murder Palace, and I've gone through so much to get this brand out there that I still don't even believe that I have the honor to call myself Murder Palace, which is my next big project. Right. Which is what I just shot, a 15-minute musical, which is dedication. If you watch it, it's a 90s pop music video. Bring it up. MurderPalace.com will take you to the YouTube channel. That is Pitchfork, PlayStation, Patreon, all of it that we've spoke about is Murder Palace. And it's in a 15-minute musical, which is essentially the Power Rangers origin story. And if Lord Zed and Rita were called Murder Palace, it would be me. So if you watch the whole 15 minutes, it's an origin story of 4 evil Power Rangers run by the White Widow and Murder Palace, which is my tribute to my story as an artist, as Murder Palace, and my tribute to PlayStation and Power Rangers. So I highly encourage everyone to watch it.
That's awesome, dude.
We will definitely. Where can they find that at, Ray?
Right now, it's just YouTube Murder Palace. I'm working on launching the brand. I've been at it for 5 years. Honestly, I've known Jeff for quite a while now, and he knows that I'm semi-retired. Like, it's a very fast life, and I was always on camera, hustling. At this point, I'm very burnt out.
Yeah,
it's just now the last year where I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready to hit my next peak because I've been very blessed to work at places.
And there's another thing on the side I want to talk to you about, Ray. I got this, like, almost like not like an alien movie, but there's like I have like a movie I've been writing for a little bit. It's like an alien. It's not alien, but it's extraterrestrial. It's like, it's so like, it takes place in just a house. Like there's only 2 scenes. And I'll pick your brain later. We'll talk later about it. I would love for you. One of my worst
fears was being abducted by aliens when I was a child.
I have this cool idea. I mean, I've been writing this thing for probably like 5 years. I'll pitch it to you, and you tell me what you think. I'd love to work with you on this one.
I would love to work with you on Suicide Miami, which is my next feature.
Oh,
it's like, it's like it comes from Hotline Miami, which is that video game. It's got that. It takes place in the cyberpunk 1980s Miami. So imagine Blade Runner. Imagine Blade Runner by Miami.
Or Blade Runner meets San Andreas Miami Vice.
We got a lot of talking to do, right?
So, but that's right now. I don't know if you want to keep this in the show now, but I'm actually waiting for my tenant to kick himself out because he's late on rent for 3 months. Oh. And I'm converting the rear apartment into a virtual set.
Okay.
It's going to require a lot of time, but I'm essentially building the back area where you're all more than welcome. Instead of having a podcast room, like, no, I have a virtual set. It's running on Unreal. Just grab your camera and point. See, look, we can shoot now.
Eventually, if people start listening to us, we're trying to get out of this virtual one, and we can actually get a studio where we can get everyone together. That's our goal.
Yeah.
So everyone like and subscribe.
Yeah, please.
Greg Miller and
help us out here, man. Help us hit our goal.
Greg Miller and the Kind of Funny crew, they started just like this.
Yeah.
And they now have 3 studios with LED walls, and they have a full staff. So
got to start somewhere, and we're starting here. I mean, I know it's not an ideal, but eventually we'll get to
That's it. We keep pushing. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Tell me, if you keep making the right decisions, at some point we're going to tip.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep making them. It's at some point it's like, Jeff, why is there money in our account? I don't know. Did we do something?
Did we do something right?
Shit, people actually like us. Holy hand grenade.
And don't forget about our new sponsor, by the way, Vit.
Holy hand grenade of Antioch. That brings me right back. I'm talking about BLTs. And no, I'm not talking about the sandwich here, y'all. I'm talking about our brand new sponsor, our shirt sponsor, BLTs.com. You genuinely need to check these guys out. They have some amazing shirts on their website. I'm talking hundreds. And if you're into 70s, 80s, 90s kid, then you're definitely going to find something that you love there. I grabbed their Godzilla line. I know Jeff grabbed a couple of the Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Living Deads. We just grabbed a whole bunch. And the guys over at BLTs are putting out an amazing quality product. They're using Gildan tees. The screen printing is beautiful, very soft, very demure, very classy, elegant, very mindful.
Oh yeah. Hey Ray, you got to check these guys out, dude. Check out BLT. What's it?
Yeah, BLTEES.com. We'll go ahead and we'll throw that up on the screen, but make sure you go and check them out.
Great. You got to check their shirts are awesome. So they've got our first sponsor on that, and they were on board, so they shipped us a bunch of shirts, whatever we wanted, hoodies and stuff. Check them out, dude.
Just amazing.
You want something?
People.
It's fucking awesome. So that was our first. I mean, we're trying to get them on because I'd love to hear them. Where are they based out of? Do you know?
They're based out of Miami or out of Florida. Not Miami.
Oh, they're out of Florida.
Yeah, they're out of Florida. So they have a whole bunch of different kinds. They got standard tees, long sleeves, dry wicking, all kinds.
Yeah.
They're in Deerfield Beach, according to Google.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they could.
Great people down there.
Dude, they're super cool. They threw us a bunch of cool merch.
Cool. Yeah, I'm on their website.
We'll have to get a bunch of people on here and just do like a fucking fun Halloween bash. We'll have to do.
I think we should.
We'll have to do.
Ray, you want to do a Halloween bash?
Yes. I might be in Paris though.
Hey, from Paris. I don't even know. It's like a Mexican accent. I don't know.
Wait, what the fuck was that, dude? That was like worse than I Love You Man's like fucking
I don't know.
Rudd's Jamaican accent. Like, slap in the face, man. You know, slap in the face. What the fuck was that? I'm Jamaican.
I don't know. I failed miserable on that one. Sorry. Shit.
God damn it. Go the fuck back to the room. God damn it. All right. We're going to stop this episode now. All right, guys. We're going to sign off for the night. You guys have a good one.
That is Power Rangers.
Yeah.
No,
all right. Well,
we all live in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Are we really done? I feel like we've been an hour.
We've been over. Yeah, we're closing in on like an hour 15, man. Ray, dude, we loved having you over here tonight, man. Just thank you from the bottom of Jeff and my heart, dude. Like, thank you.
Oh, for sure, man. I hope I brought something.
You talking about? You brought awesome, dude. You did. This was awesome podcast, dude. I'm glad to have. Dude, can't wait to have you back on again,
sir.
Like,
yeah,
as
I would
the
love
kids
to do
say,
these for sure. Yeah,
you brought it, you dished it, and you served it, sir. And then we ate it
did.
all up. So thanks you very much, man.
But hey, yeah,
I'm really happy you all invited me. This is off the record. Doesn't even have to be in the show. I really appreciate the opportunity to just kind of express myself and just be myself. And Jeff,
we love you, man. We're just
absolutely love you, buddy.
Back on. You're like,
so this is actually quite helping my healing process to have the courage to come back on camera. So you'll probably be seeing a lot of my face soon, and I apologize in advance.
All right, y'all. So that ends another amazing episode here at the Vault. And I think we've made a great deposit today, but I think it's time for all good things to come to an end. But before we do, I want to hand it off to Ray and allow him to let y'all know where you can find any of his videos, any of the stuff that he's working on right now. So, Ray, go ahead and tell our viewers everything that they need to know, my man.
Well, again, I appreciate the time and your lovely energy, y'all. Like, I was very gracious and I had a blast. I can't wait to come back and do some more with y'all. All I want to plug is positive energy and good times. But what I'm currently working on, and what I'll be currently working on until I die, because it's my passion, is Murder Palace. MurderPalace.com. Go there. Hopefully, it's launched by the time you watch this episode, and then my story will be there. Right now, if you go to it now, you'll see my 15-minute musical, which is essentially my love letter to the 90s and my not so love letter to my ex. But it's essentially a 15-minute musical, which I call Suicide Miami Chapter 1, which is the name of my album that I released under Suicide Miami. I'm actually a DJ with two alter egos, Suicide Miami and Murder Palace, which is actually by design. It's a story that I like to tell now, but I do it live now. So I'm on the verge now in 2025 to relaunch Murder Palace. And within that universe, you will discover Nintendo Pro, PlayStation Lab, Xbox Love. I also own LordDraken.com. I also own TheRangerSlayer.com. So you'll be seeing some of my special tributes to Jason David Frank through official channels that I own.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Absolutely gorgeous.
So within the Murder Palace universe, you'll get Nintendo Pro, PlayStation Lab, Xbox Love, which is essentially my love letter to my favorite industry, as if it were in my universe. So It's almost like listening to the radio in Grand Theft Auto. You're listening to a radio station in the video game. So you'll be watching content in my universe that I call Murder Palace. 2025.
2025 is the year, my friend.
Hey,
I'm excited.
Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. But Ray, thank you so much again for just coming on, sharing your story and some of your experiences. And I'm glad that we could just give you a stage to come on and just be yourself, man. We love you, brother.
Right on, man. Thank you so much. Right on, man. Love you too.
Love ya. Bye.
All right. So just like I said, all good things come to an end. I wish I had my Mr. Rogers sweater. I wish.
This is for all Patreon members, the After Hours episode.
Right. Hey, so if you want to check out some of our spicy 90s content, check us out on our OnlyFans page.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Coming soon.
No, but genuinely, thank you guys so much. And so this wraps up another amazing episode here at the 90s Vault. And we just want to say thank you. And we look forward to another episode. But just like always, y'all be good.
Be rad.
And just be 90s.